What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I'm PokeHunterJeff, and if this is your first time watching, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell below. It greatly helps to push this video out to other people just like yourself. But today we're going to be covering a very important topic in the hobby right now. This is not going to be a very technical video. We're not going to be looking at charts. We're not going to be diving into specific cards I'm looking at or sealed product. But it is a question and a comment on this hobby that I really want to address, and I wanted this video to at least exist on this channel. So without wasting any more time, let's get into it. As this hobby continues to grow and more people come into it, I'm starting to see more and more comments on PokeTubers and Reddit threads and really all of social media of these people saying, grow up, you're ruining a kid's card game. And we're going to get into that a little bit later, but first I want to touch on what Pokemon means to me, where I got started in all of this, what happened along the way, and how I got to where I am now. And I think that my story probably will resonate with a lot of you because we all grew up with this stuff. I was, 5 years old when I got my first Game Boy Color. It was like a teal Game Boy Color. Pokemon Red had well, I don't know if it had just come out, but that was my first game. And then right after that, it was Pokemon Yellow. Then we go to Game Boy Advance. And right around that time, too, I really got into the cards. All my neighbors on my street had Pokemon cards. Friends at school had them. Everyone had Pokemon cards. And, as time goes on, cards get folded up in pockets and washed in the washer and sold in garage sales. And, if I could go back in time and tell little me that, these cards are going to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, I would do so, but that's not possible, obviously. But then time goes on and, you get into middle school, high school, college, and this stuff becomes less important. You don't have as much free time for these things. I did play a lot of the games, like Gen 3 is my absolute favorite, Emerald, Ruby, Sapphire. I've gone back now and I've played like Gen 5, which I totally skipped at the time when it came out. But, in college, I did not have expendable funds. I tried getting back into the TCG a little bit, but I just didn't have any money really. So it was mostly just a couple of packs here and there, not anything crazy. Fast forward to 2020. COVID happens, I have an established career, I'm making good money, and I see something that, we're all locked in our houses, we don't have anything to do, and I see something that has huge nostalgia associated with it and actually brings me happiness. And so I decide to just kind of go into it, and I start ripping a ton of product. We're talking, sealed cases of booster boxes, of Vivid Voltage, even Evolutions, and really Sword and Shield from like Battle Styles and forward. Yes, even Evolving Skies, that one hurts a little bit for sure. But I think that's where it kind of all really kicked back into gear for me. And it turned into watching a ton of videos on YouTube and, pouring through historical data of look how these Pokemon cards have performed. Even, when we had a crash after COVID, it really wasn't, anything crazy. I was still up on everything that I had got basically at MSRP. And, you look at every set in Pokemon history and even the most undesirable ones and how they've outperformed the S&P, and everyone talks about that stuff. But as I started getting more and more into that information, I was like, well, if I can do this, instead of putting all my money in the stock market, which honestly was just boring to me, I can put my money into something that I love, that I enjoy, and I can use it to help build wealth over time. Well, that sounds amazing. That sounds like exactly what I would like to do. So then I started getting heavy into it. And, you look at today and really just the past couple of years, I've gotten more into sealed collecting. But for the longest time, it was just raw cards and slabs, and I still do those things today. I think, something that I really want to hammer on here is that, yes, this is a Pokemon investing channel, But that does not mean that is all we care about. We are not just looking at dollar signs. We do this, and I do this because this is a hobby that I love. I love the artworks. I love the nostalgia it brings. I have a National Dex binder that I'm building to give to my son one day of, one of every Pokemon that's ever been made and some of my favorite artworks of those Pokemon. When I flip through that binder, it's memories of, cards that I had as a kid, but also these newer cards that I'm picking up with friends and family and loved ones. And like I took my son, who's not even one yet, to his first card show, and he had no idea what was going on at all. But the cards that I picked up there at that card show to go in that binder will always have that memory associated with it. So there's really two sides to this hobby. There is a collecting side and there is an investing side, but there's a way to blend both. So that's kind of my story. That's how I got to where I am now. Now let's get into part 2. So what does collecting and investing in this hobby give me? I think the best way I can answer this question is we live in a world that moves so fast, and this hobby provides me something that I genuinely enjoy slowing down for. I think it provides stress relief. It provides an outlet. It provides connection to other people. And on the investing side of things, it provides structure and goals for myself and my family. And, I just talked about the National Dex binder and how that provides connection with other people and builds memories. And all of that is so important, guys. Like, I'm not saying that you have to be in this hobby for very specific reasons, but it does make it way more enjoyable when you're doing something that you love. The reason I put out these videos, that I go through the time and the effort to create them, edit them, and put them out on YouTube is, one, because I enjoy it, and two, for the connection with you guys. We've gone in the past 2 months from basically nothing to over 1,000 subscribers, and thank you guys for that. That is, huge. I can't even begin to explain how thankful I am for it, and I think it goes to show how many people are in this. Like, we can go through investing picks every single day and looking at raw cards and sealed products, but at the end of the day, you should also collect what you love. It makes it more enjoyable, I promise you. And if you're just looking at it as a dollar sign, I'm not going to say don't do that, because everyone has their reasons for being in this hobby. But I can only speak to my personal experience, and it has made this journey really so much more enjoyable by having those other facets associated with it. I love getting to talk with you guys in the comments when I post these videos. You'll notice if you go back and look, I try to respond to everybody. And as this channel continues to grow, that may not be as feasible. However, I'm going to do my very best to answer questions. I want to engage with you guys. I want to answer those questions because this channel for me is also about community. I want to build a community that is supportive of one another, that we're trying to, help each other out in these different plays we're making, whatever it is you're collecting. If you're building a specific binder, like I just want everyone to be able to come together on this channel and to enjoy this hobby even more than we already are. So now, with that said, I want to get into what I talked about at the beginning of this video. The statement or comments of grow up, you are ruining a kid's card game. Let's get into that. So first, let me say, I fully understand this perspective of ruining a kid's card game. Yes, when you walk into stores and there's nothing on the shelves, that does suck. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. But I do think the Pokemon Company is doing what they can to meet that demand. We've got a print facility coming online 2027, 2028. I think we're going to see more product printed than ever before. Hopefully that helps to resolve that situation as well. But guys, 99% of people in this hobby are not your scalpers jumping from store to store, following distributors around in their cars, and making a quick flip on this product. Most of us are here because we genuinely enjoy the hobby, and sure, maybe we like to see the lines on a chart go up over time. Who doesn't? Whether you're invested in the stock market or Pokemon, everyone likes to see their financial position improve over time. But I think that that approach is healthy. Adults and kids alike prop up this market. To say that this hobby is just for kids, I think is very oblivious to the fact that Pokemon wouldn't be where it is today if that were the case. It's the largest IP in the world. We all know that. It's growing every day. You've got kids today growing up with Sword and Shield, Scarlet and Violet, soon to be Winds and Waves. And if that game goes really well, if they develop it well and it's a hit, the cycle continues, guys. And this hobby will just continue to grow as the years go on. But I think what I'll say is, and I really want to address this clearly, if you're enjoying what you collect, then you're doing it right. There is not an age limit on doing something you enjoy. Really let that sink in. Let that stick with you guys. Don't listen to the hate online or from other people who just don't understand this hobby and where it's going. We really are booming, and it's going to go through phases and cycles through time, but overall this hobby's growing every single day, and I love the interactions that I get. I've started vending. I love seeing the smiles on kids' faces when they win a free card or something like that. But I'll end this video with that. If you watched all the way to the end of this rant, I greatly appreciate it. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and remember, if you're enjoying what you're collecting, you are doing it right. See you in the next one, guys. Let's get hunting.